ಎಷ್ಟು ಪೇಜ್ ಇದೆ? 2 So around 35 pages ಇದೆ. So we'll try to finish it in the next 2 weeks. ಸರಿ. Hopefully before September 15th or 10th we should finish. Okay? Let's try now. Huh?
Number.
Page number ನನ್ನ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ 172. Heart region, 4th chapter.
116 ಅಂತ.
Narada was at the lowest rung of the ladder leading up to this region. He played his tune, no doubt with his veena, in one corner of the heart region. He was only the catcher of the sound or shabda felt in the heart. He was absorbed only in the inferior type of the shabda produced in the heart. I do not want to deal further taking up the examples of other big rishis. I am afraid that the people may pounce upon me if I disclose their condition or true state. But I may reveal these things to my representative, whoever he may be. I have to disclose very many things. Some of them will come to light during my lifetime, others will follow me when I shall cease to exist in material form. So the lowest string under the first 2 points of the heart region. That's where Narada is playing his tune. Now there are sounds in every point. In every chakra there is a sound. We read about it. Now the sound becomes more refined and more subtle and more sweeter as we go to the higher points. So Narada is able to catch hold of that lower kind of shabda. Lower means it's in the first 2 points. That's where he is able to catch those shabda, and then he is playing his veena according to the things that he catches. Babaji is not spoken about other rishis and their states. Although we hold many of these rishis in very high, what do you say, esteem in our mind, but he is not disclosed the positions of each of these rishis. Okay, so that's where Narada is. I think hopefully we can actually move on. Narada is actually looked at as a very, what do you say, Narada Maharshi. That's what they call. If you look at all the places where Narada is addressed, he is addressed as Maharshi. Just imagine one who is in the first point, second point is addressed as Maharshi. And it's just that he had the ability to kind of move around different lokas. That was his job anyway. So in other words, people in the past were very liberal in giving titles and respect to people who are supposed to be very spiritual in nature. Okay. In India, we have always held people in spiritual realm with a lot of reverence. Like, for example, Durvasa, who was known to curse people at the drop of a hat. Of course, at the time of Durvasa, there was no hat. That's a different thing. But he was cursing people left, right, center. But still, he was called as a great rishi. Right? So, in other words, in those times, anybody who was in spiritual field was held in very high reverence. Okay. The heart region is extended almost from head to toe, head to foot. All the creation of the Almighty is within this circle. Head to toe ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ head to foot ಅಂದ್ರೆ from the first point up to the 10th point. Toe with the foot ಅಂದ್ರೆ head ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, top of the head. To the foot ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ the first point. So that is the heart region. So in other words, in this context, Babuji is talking about the heart region as extending from the first point up to the 10th point. It's only in this context that he's talking about. All the creation of the Almighty is within this circle from first to 10th point. Okay, that's why we say that at the 10th point, as we cross the 10th point, the role of the creator, we have crossed the role of Ishvara, the creator. That's why he writes in 10th point. The work, of course, is divided and pushed on by different senses. If we go below the middle point of the heart region, we find several functionaries at work, of course, on different lines prescribed for each one of them. Powers of the Almighty are also found in them, which can be utilized as such. It's a great machinery of nature. This heart region is the great machinery of nature. When we clear off the matter and exhaust the power produced by them, I mean, You are a self-created power. You enter the state just as it was at the beginning. In other words, when you untie your own knots in this region, calmness prevails and becomes predominant. So one sign of having crossed the heart region is that there is a certain degree of calmness which prevails in the heart, in the abhyasi. Everything that you find there, originally, originality is now there, looks calm and simple. Nothing of your own making now remains. Dots and particles disappears. Twinkling light also now begins to fade till it comes to nothing or zero. There is no heaviness now. The state, of course, is beyond conception for the soul, which has not yet come to the standard of reality found in it. The self has always a longing for its own realization. It's only possible when it becomes one with the center. Outward things, the coverings with regard to this region are now no more. Cosmic powers reside in the big region of the heart. Before crossing this region onto the real mind, you acquire many powers which are utilized in godly work. I am not going to discuss about these powers in this book. So he's talking about the first to 10 points, 1 to 10 points. All the cosmic powers are between the sixth point up to the 10th point. That's where the cosmic powers reside. Okay. Now, before we actually tap into those higher heart region, you can divide the heart region into two: lower heart region, upper heart region. This only in this particular book that you can have this kind of a division. Otherwise, from the sixth point onwards, it's called as mind region. We read that in Sagemark philosophy. But in this book, he's described it in a slightly different way. Lower heart region, higher heart region. The lower heart region is the first to 5 points, and that's where the individuality kind of resides mostly. So all the main heavy samskaras, everything kind of resides there. Then from the sixth to 10th point, it's the place for the cosmic powers, although he's not kind of discussed. So during our journey in the heart region, from between the first to 10 points, you can see dots and particles. You remember one of the Abhyasi who came for sitting today morning, he was talking about the black dot that he sees. He sees. He mentioned it few times, black dots. All the dots and all the particles disappear. There's sometimes a twinkling light also seen during this journey between the first to 10 points. Even that now disappears. There is no heaviness and there is a predominant feeling of calmness as you pass through the heart region. These are the things to kind of remember. So the dots and the particles disappear, the twinkling of the light disappears, then there is no heaviness, and uh, the powers are there in the upper heart region between 6 to 10 points, and the entire region, as and when it gets cleaned, becomes more calmer and simpler. That's what happens. Okay. The self has always a longing for its own realization. It's only possible when it becomes one with the center. That is when you can say that the full self realization has occurred, when it becomes one with the center. Of course, before that, when you establish at the stage of the self, which is at the lower level, which is at the end periphery of the central region, that is also called as central self realization. When you align with the center, it's called as Bhuma realization or the realization of the ultimate. Okay, there are two realizations. Okay. I am revealing my research, innovation, and discoveries, as you may be pleased to call it, as regards this region, the heart region. I take the heart made up of flesh and blood and divide it into two parts, as shown in the diagram 1. The first part of the circle, marked U, is brighter than the other, marked L. So now you take the heart, which is there here. Now draw a circle here in the heart, and then cross a line. This is upper, this is lower. This is brighter and this is less brighter. That's how it is. Or you can't see. So you just, this is the heart here. So you just draw a circle here. And then once you draw the circle here, you draw a cross line. Then you have the upper and the lower. Upper is brighter and lower is less brighter. That's how it is. Okay. So I'll just be back. I have locked the door, I think.
Lot of changes I see just within 1 month.
ಏನ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು?
Secret.
ಸೀಕ್ರೆಟ್ I
Yashas has changed a lot in just 1 month, I'm seeing.
ಹೌದು. ಅವ್ರು ಈಗ ಯೂತ್ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಯಶಸ್ಸಿಗೆ,
Thank you.
ಅಲ್ವಾ?
Face has become so much sharp.
ಅವ್ನು ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಗಡ್ಡ ಬೋಡಿಸಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಹೇರ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಹಿ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಲುಕ್ ಗುಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್. ಸೊ ಈಸ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ರೆಡಿ ಫಾರ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್. ಈಗ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ನೋಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟುದ್ದ ಗಡ್ಡ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ ಹೆಣ್ಣು, ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಕೊಹ್ಲಿ ಥರ ಟ್ರಿಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಯ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಒಬ್ರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ಸುಮಾರು, ಇನ್ನು ಫರ್ದರ್?
13 kgs down and 13.5% body fat down.
ಗುಡ್ ಗುಡ್.
Thank you.
So now you see, it's so easy when you are actually aligned with meditation. It's not that difficult as people think. That's the beauty of it. Everything in life that you want to do becomes easy when you are in meditation. Without meditation, many things appear to be very tedious. So, in last time ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ, ಈಗ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ, you can clearly see the difference now. ಅಲ್ವಾ? There's a world of difference actually.
ಅಜಗಜ ಅಂತ ಅಂಕಲ್, ಆಕಾಶ ಭೂಮಿ.
Exactly. A huge difference. And now you look at how you actually achieved it last time around with so much effort over such a long period of time. And now
Could not
you are not
do
putting
this
as much effort. ಈಗ ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ಗೂ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡು, ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ ಏನೋ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತಿದ್ದಾನೆ.
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು.
ನೀ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನೀ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ಯಾ, ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ವಿಚಾರ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಈಗ ನಿನ್ನ ನೀ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ನೀನು, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಈಗ ಒಂದ್ ಮಗು ಆಗಿದೆ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಮಗು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಕೀಪ್ ದಟ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. And you remember, I keep telling you that you need to have 3 children. ಆಯ್ತಾ? So that being the case, you need to work on your physique also. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಯಶಸ್ನ ಹೊಗಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರವೀಣ್, ನಿನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಹೊಗಳಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ಇದು ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ನಾರ್ದಾಯಿಸ್ ಇಂದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್, ಪ್ಲೇಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ಲೋವರ್ ಟ್ಯೂನ್, ಕ್ಯಾಚಿಂಗ್ ದ ಲೋವರ್ ಶಬ್ದ ಆಫ್ ದ ಇನ್ಫೀರಿಯರ್ ಟೈಪ್. When we come to the higher regions, the shabda will be of the superior type. That's how it is. Sarina? That bitre, then we talked about some of the experiences that people have when they pass through the heart region. And heart region is described here from first to 10 points. Lower heart region, upper heart region. So as we go through the heart region, we have calmness and simplicity prevailing. Secondly, all the dots and particles disappear. Many times we experience dots and particles during the journey in the heart region. Sometimes we also experience twinkling lights. Somebody just told me yesterday or day before yesterday, they had twinkling lights like this. So these are all people do experience it. Not everyone experiences everything, but we have seen people say many of these things after you give settings. So the twinkling lights also now disappears, the dots and particles now disappear, and then there is no heaviness now left. So the lightness prevails, and then as you go higher, you start becoming acquainted with the powers of nature, which are residing between the 6th to 10 points. All powers of nature are between the 6 to 10 points. Okay. So now he's coming to the point A, point B, those kinds of things. Now this is only written in this book, this point about the heart being at that point, and then the circle, and then division of the circle as U and L. So this is something that you will only find here in this book. So just keep that in mind. The upper region marked U is the first point of the heart region, and the lower region marked L is the second part of the heart. The upper one is the landing point of the great rishis. So it's at the upper region in the first point itself, we can actually communicate with the liberated souls. They come into this state after a good deal of penance and sacrifice. The thing is not open to everybody, although so near, but only to him who really deserves it. So ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಅದು ಬರಲ್ಲ. Only few people have the ability to be able to catch hold of what are the rishis who are landing up in the first point. The low region is generally the place of the common folk. ನಮ್ಮ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಜನರಿಗೆ lower region ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. Super consciousness of the inferior type abides in the region marked U. U and L ಅಂತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ diagram ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ U ನಲ್ಲಿ you have the lowest type of the super consciousness. So when you are actually working on point A meditation and point B cleaning, essentially you are actually brightening up the U. That is what you are doing. U and L ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ. So when you do the work on point A and point B, you are brightening up the U. In other words, when you brighten up the U, you are actually getting entry into the super consciousness. That is what is happening. Serena. You begin to become conscious of many godly things when you reside in this region. The man who is always intoxicated with worldly things cannot reach even this state of super consciousness of the inferior type. Forget about higher points. Lower point nalle one point alle irtakanta super conscious nu touch ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. If you are engrossed in IT, ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ರಿ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಐಟಿನವರೇ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಐಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇಂಟಾಕ್ಸಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಐಟಿ. ಇಂಟಾಕ್ಸಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಐಟಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಯು ರೀಜನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಋಷಿಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಓಡೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ.
ಯಾಕೆ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕಲಿ ಐಟಿ ಅಂತ?
ಐಟಿನವರು ಮುಳುಗಿರೋದು. ಅವ್ನು ಉಲ್ಲಾಸ ಸಿಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇವತ್ತು. ಅವ್ನು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ 7 ಗಂಟೆ 8 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ರಾತ್ರಿ 10 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಫೋನ್ ಎತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಕೈಗೆ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾನೆ. ಮೆನಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ಅವ್ರ ಇಡೀ ಜೀವನನೇ ಐಟಿ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗೆ ಒತ್ತೆ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಈ ಕಡೆ ಅತ್ತೆ ಹತ್ರ ಏನೋ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೂ ಟೈಮ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕೆಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಒತ್ತೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So this is the fate of the IT people. So they will not even touch the U in the first point itself. So just remember that. Sarina. There are 3 points, one above, one other, one below, and third somewhere in between the two. The upper point is denoted as A and the lower point is denoted as B. You will find different seeds and writhes whirling there. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ. ABCD, what is A related to, B related to, C related to, that is what he is talking about here. Between A and point B, there is a point which if pressed, you can have communication with the liberated souls of the brighter world after some practice of Raja Yoga. ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಗೋಪಾಲ್ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಡಿಸಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟ. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾನು ಒಂದೇ ಸತಿ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡೇ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. Whenever you think of anything, the idea comes first at A. Whatever you think repeatedly located at the point A, you will form your fate accordingly. At the point B, if you meditate that you are becoming devoid of all sensual things, the result will follow in the shortest possible time, which you cannot even imagine unless you do it yourself. The Abhyasis under our system of Sajmar practice on these points and find remarkable improvement. If the practice is systematically done on both these points, desires will soon begin to bid farewell. The point between A and B is kept as a secret, as havoc can be brought if it is improperly used. So I am not disclosing it at all. So point A and B ಅಂತಿದೆ. ಇದು A and B point ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. A and B point ಮಧ್ಯದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, if you actually press there, you can actually have communication with the liberated souls between A and B. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸರಿ, ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಯಾರೋ ಸೋಲ್ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು ಗೋಪಾಲ್ ಕೃಷ್ಣನ್ಗೆ ಮೆಡಿಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ. ಆಯ್ತು. See, I'll tell you one thing. As you people become more and more subtle, you start experiencing subtle beings that you are not normally aware of. And many of these subtle beings are also like spirits who have kind of been devoid of the physical body. So they do come occasionally. Almost every other preceptor that I have actually spoken to, quite a few of them have reported this. And when it is occurring, no, you will not know until you are actually aware of it. Of course, when it troubles you, you will know. When it doesn't trouble you, it's just there with you, you will not know. Either. So that's actually a good sign. There is no need to worry about it. It's a good sign that now you are actually becoming more subtle. That's what is happening. ಸರಿ ಸರಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋದು ಎ ಬಿ ಸಿ ಡಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಎ ಬಿ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎ ಬಿ ಸಿ ಡಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ್ದು ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಎ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮೆಡಿಟೇಷನ್, ಬಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಕ್ಲೀನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, we will actually gain access to the lowest kind of super consciousness. That's why Daji writes that you actually do the point A meditation and point B cleaning to gain access to the super consciousness. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇಲಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಇಫ್ ವಿ ಗೇನ್ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಲೋವರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಟು ದ ಸೂಪರ್ ಕಾನ್ಶಿಯಸ್ನೆಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಹೈಯರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ನೌ. ಸರಿ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಎಂಟರ್ ದ ಅಪ್ಪರ್ ರೀಜನ್ cleaning the points A and B, you make yourself deserving for reaching the other sort of super consciousness which lies in this region of the heart. One who thoroughly cleans the point B receives then the happy tidings of his entry into this sort of super consciousness that I am going to deal with hereafter. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಕ್ಲೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಒನ್ ಹೂ ಥರೋಲಿ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬಿ receives the happy tidings of his entry into the next state of super consciousness, which I am now going to deal with hereafter. ಸರಿನಾ? ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಕ್ಲೀನಿಂಗ್ ಬರೀ ಸೆನ್ಶುವಲ್ ಡಿಸೈರ್ಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಗಿವ್ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಟು ಹೈಯರ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೂಪರ್ ಕಾನ್ಶಿಯಸ್ನೆಸ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸರಿನಾ?
Why is it that those desires hold us back here? What is it different than other desires that it's so heavy?
ಏನು?
Why is it that sensual desires are such that they hold us back here, and cleaning them off is what allows us for super conscious?
The simple is very simple thing is sensual desires actually reinforce the idea that you are the body. So it makes the body consciousness stronger. Now, if a person is not attached to the body, there is no question of any sensual desire at all. When the body attachment gradually wanes away, the sensual desires also automatically come down. So what makes the reinforcement of the body consciousness is the sensual desires. So when the point B is cleaned regularly, what happens? The sensual desires come down because the body consciousness also comes down. And now remember, with the cleaning of the point B, you gain access to the super consciousness, higher kind of super consciousness, that actually now starts working on the lower points of the heart. When you start having the impact of the super consciousness on the lower points of the heart, it's very easy to get yourself disentangled from them. Okay? Of all the desires, sensual desires are the one which reinforces the idea of the body consciousness the strongest. Got the point? That's why it's important to work on point B. But of course, you also need to marry. Right? If you work too much on body consciousness and then all the desires are gone, then what are you going to do? Then you will not be able to fulfill what Babaji has been saying, lead a grihastha life. Right? So, reasonable amount of cleaning of point B. After you have had 4 or 5 years of married life, then your wife herself will send you to the super consciousness. So don't worry. Till that time, it's all right. Okay. Now you can ask Praveen, is it 5 years since marriage, Praveen? Well, okay. You are spared now. Right. Priya, sister, you are not there. Are you there or not there?
I'm feeling that it's good that now my internet is not that great, so my video is not shown because I'm laughing from here a lot.
You've been listening quietly and then enjoying.
Yeah.
Good. So, no, yesterday we were discussing the point that the normal day-to-day occurrence of ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ಯಪ್ಪ ಅದು ಸಹಜ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿ ಓದ್ತಿರೋದು ನಾವು ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಹಜ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿಲಿ ಇದು ಡಲಾಲಜಿ ಬರೀತಾರೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಏನ್ ಬರೀತಾರೆ he says Lalaji says the troubles and miseries of grihastha life are penances and sacrifices for spiritual attainment ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಓದ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ ಸೊ ದಿನನಿತ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಪ್ಹೀವಲ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಡೇ ಟು ಡೇ ಅಪ್ಹೀವಲ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಫೀಲ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಲೈಫ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಎನಿವೇ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಬೌಂಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಅಪ್ಹೀವಲ್ಸ್ we use those things to actually progress faster in spiritual journey. If you learn to handle the upheavals of life correctly, that can be a force multiplier in terms of your journey, spiritual journey. Remember that. Right. And normally, we don't look at it that way. Normally, what we are told is when you face upheavals in life, learn to tolerate it. This is what you are told. So there are three ways of doing it. Whenever we have upheavals in life, it could be good, it could be bad, whatever. Either you can tolerate it, that's one way, or you can crib about it. The more you crib and the more you think about it, the more you suffer. That's the second way. Most of the people take the second way. The third way is you look at every upheavals in life as an opportunity for you to grow spiritually. How to do that? By learning to handle them in the right way, which is going to promote spiritual growth. So when you have that capability, the third one, then every normal phase of life that you pass through, where upheavals are there anyway, some are mild, some are major, but you learn to handle these upheavals in such a way that your journey in spiritual realm is now accelerated. So remember, every challenge that we face in life, we have three ways of handling it. Most of the people are happy just to tolerate it. A truly spiritual person, and that is one of the reasons why we actually progress faster in our spiritual journey in this third mark system. We don't go in search of anything there. Wherever we are, the ups and downs of life is a part and parcel of our journey for everyone. So we utilize that ups and downs in life as a fodder for our spiritual journey. So every upheaval in life is a chance for you to accelerate your journey, provided you learn to handle it properly. Now you might have a question, how to learn to handle it properly? That is where listening to the heart comes in. You are facing a certain situation, you are supposed to handle it properly. When you learn to handle it properly by listening to the signals from the heart, then you are actually making the journey faster. The journey does not become faster just because you are meditating. The journey actually becomes faster when you learn to handle things properly. Got the point? So, three ways of dealing with things that we face in life: tolerance, cribbing, and unnecessarily thinking and pondering about it a lot, which actually increases the suffering. Thirdly, learning to handle the things in the right way by listening to the heart so that the journey can be accelerated. The acceleration of the spiritual journey occurs outside meditation, not in meditation itself. Remember. Okay. Say, for example, you have a meditation session and then I just give you a very simple example. You just do the meditation session and you feel very peaceful at the end of the meditation. You go home. Lot of noise in the house for which you have no control. Now you have a choice to make. Whether to actually hold on to this control, to this peacefulness that you got during the session of meditation, or to get irritated by what is happening in the house and lose that condition of peacefulness by shouting, by getting angry. Now, if you learn to keep the condition of the heartfulness, the peacefulness in the heart, while also trying to be very pragmatic in the way that you deal with the situation at home, now not only you maintain the condition, now you develop tolerance to manage the condition that is now manifested at home. By handling it rightly, for example, they are fighting. When they are fighting, and then you actually think pragmatically and give a solution. So not only you have tolerated the situation, but you also given a solution as a way out of the situation. That is going to accelerate your journey. Now the question might come, how do we get the solution then for the issue at hand? Because the issues keep changing every day. The solution you get by just looking at your heart and then picking up the things from the heart. That's how you get the solution. That is the reason why you need to go on keeping a watch on the heart all the time. Not this watch, wristwatch, watch on the heart. And whenever you people need to go and see, not 1 to 10 heart, 1 to 5 heart, the heart, the feeling heart. Don't worry about the points. The feeling heart will give you an indication. Now that you people are going to look for brides for your marriage, I'll give you a tip. So look for the signals from the heart. The heart will just say, this is right, this is okay. It will not give any reason. It will just give one word, okay, it's fine. That's what you are looking for. If that feeling from the heart doesn't come and you are thinking left, right, center, then that's not one for you. Okay? So they will ask you to go and talk to the bride. Then you will say, wait outside for 2 minutes. I will lock the door and then listen to my heart and then call you. Don't do all these things. ಆಯ್ತು, ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಪ್ಪಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊರಟೋಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರವೀಣ್, ನಿನ್ನ ಅನುಭವಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರು ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನೀ ಏನೋ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡ್ತೀಯ ಅಂತ.
ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಡ.
ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀಯ? ಆಯ್ತು, ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ಸೊ ಧೀರಜ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಧೀರಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ವಿಡಿಯೋನು ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಬ್ರದರ್, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನನಗೆ ಅಜ್ಜಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ.
ಅದಕ್ಕೇನಾ? ಬಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಎಲ್ಲ.
ಕೆಲ್ಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಬ್ರದರ್.
ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಂಗೂ ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೇನೆ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಕಿವಿ ಇಟ್ಟೇ ಇರ್ತೀಯ.
ಏನ್ ಬ್ರದರ್?
ನಿಂಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಬಿಡು, ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ.
ಓಕೆ ಬ್ರದರ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಕನ್ನಡ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಒಂದು.
ಹೌದು, ಬೆಟರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನೋಡಿ, ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವಿತ್ somebody who has that natural knack ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅದು ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಪಿಕ್ ಅಪ್. just by listening again and again we pick up. Quite possible that Priya sister also should have become slightly better in Kannada now. ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್, ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರೇನ್ರಿ? ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್, ಆರ್ ಯು ದೇರ್? ರಾತ್ರಿ ಡಿನ್ನರ್ ತಿನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಯ್ತು, ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ. ಸರಿ, ಈಗ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ. Now you understand the importance of welcoming everything that happens in your life as an opportunity for your spiritual growth. Now, welcome everything that happens in your life as an opportunity for your spiritual growth by learning to handle it properly. Don't crib about anything in life. When you understand this, you hardly complain. ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಕ್ರಿಬ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. But that human tendency will remain to some extent, but you will not creep to such an extent that you actually suffer or form samskaras. ಒಂಚೂರು ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸಿ, ಅಲ್ಲೊಂಚೂರು ಇಲ್ಲೊಂಚೂರು, ಸೇಮ್. Occasionally it will come through, but that's okay. It's not something that's going to leave a very big impact on the heart. ಸರಿನಾ? So anyway, now you realize the importance of point B cleaning. Point B cleaning ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ it actually decreases the attachment to the body. In that way, it also gives you access to the superconsciousness of the higher type now. I am locating point A and B by actual measurements. The heart lies in the left side of the body, near the lowest part of the left flank. Measure 2 fingers with straight to the right of the left nipple, then proceed straight downwards, up to 3 fingers width. This is the position of point A. Now you proceed 2 fingers with straight downwards. You will find point B just above the lowest rib. Measurement to be taken with one's own fingers. ಇದು ಬರಿಬೇಕು. ಕೆಲವು ಸತಿ ಅದು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಮೆಜರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಟೇಕನ್ ವಿತ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ ಫಿಂಗರ್ಸ್ ಸಂಬಡಿ ಎಲ್ಸಸ್ ಫಿಂಗರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ವಾಸ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ರೋಟ್ ಸಂಬಡಿ ಎಲ್ಸಸ್ ಫಿಂಗರ್. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಫನ್ನಿ, ಬಟ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಸೊ ಕೀಪ್ ದಟ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. ಮೆಜರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಟೇಕನ್ ವಿತ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ ಫಿಂಗರ್ಸ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಅದು ಕೇಳಿದವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಫಿಂಗರ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕಾಣದೇ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ our superconsciousness unveils in this region till we come to the point of the superiority of the superconsciousness, as we call it. This is shown in diagram 3. Nodri, diagram 3. 7th point nalli superior types of superconsciousness ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಲೋವರ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೂಪರ್ ಕಾನ್ಶಿಯಸ್ನೆಸ್ಗೂ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆಗೂ ನೋಡಿ ಫಿಗರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ 1 and look at diagram 3. Compare these two. In the heart, the upper region lies to the right side, whereas here in this part it lies to the left side, and the lower region is to the right. ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಪ್ಪರ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ, ಲೋವರ್ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಲೋವರ್ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ, ಅಪ್ಪರ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ. Reverses.
Uncle, sorry, the 6th point or 7th point? Because in my book, diagram 6th ಇದೆ.
6th point ಅಲ್ಲ ಕಣೋ, 7th point ಕಣೋ. 6th point is a very small point. ಏನಂತಿದೆ ತೋರಿಸು. ನಮ್ಮ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಹಂಗೆ ಇದೆ.
6 ಅಂತ ಇದೆ.
6 ಅಂತ ಬರ್ದಿದಾರಾ? ಓಕೆ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸರಿನಾ? ಬಟ್ ಯಾಕೆ ನಾನು 6th to 7th ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, 6th to 7th ನಂಬರ್ 8 ತರ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಸೋ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಲಿ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್, 6th and 7th. 7th is much bigger, 6th is very small. 8 ಬರೆದ್ರೆ, if you write the lower circle as very small and the upper circle as big, that upper circle which is big is the 7th point, the lower circle which is small is the 6th point. Right. If they have written 6, you take it as 6 only, no problem. But it's very closely related to that 6 and 7. But the way ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ 6 ಅಂತ ಬರೆದಿಲ್ಲ, the way that it's actually shown in the book, it appears like to be 7. But if they have written 6, take it as 6 only, no problem. ಆಯ್ತಾ? 6th point. Now, ಇದು ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಇರೋ ಪಾರ್ಟು ಯು, ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಇರೋ ಪಾರ್ಟು ಎಲ್. ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಎಲ್, ಅದು ಯು. ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಎಲ್. ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸರಿ. The figure, the way that you draw it is very similar. You draw the circle, you cut it into half across. Then rather than writing L and U, you write L and U opposite direction. That's all. So the upper part is L, the lower part is U, which kind of reverse. Now here, the A1 and B1 are the point akin to those of A and B in the heart. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ A and B ಏನು ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಅದು A1 and B1 ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ A2 B2 ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ A3 B3 ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So when you work on the A and B points, you are simultaneously working on A1, A2, A3. When you work on the B point, you are simultaneously working on B1, B2, B3. That's the importance of point A meditation and point B cleaning. You are simultaneously working on the upper levels of the superconsciousness also, higher levels of superconsciousness also. Same. In the portion called D1, there is the superior sort of superconsciousness. The only difference is that the ideas creeping at A2, A1 are finer. It is left to the Abhyasi to purify the point B1 so that the finer points may begin to reign. You get purified to the same extent in this portion as you purify the points A and B of the heart. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ತನಗೆ ತಾನಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸರಿನಾ? ಈಗ ಎ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನ ಪ್ಯೂರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಹೆಂಗೆ? ಬಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಪ್ಯೂರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಏನೋ ಗೊತ್ತು ನಿಮಗೆ, ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀರಾ. ಎ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನ ಪ್ಯೂರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೆಂಗೆ? ಇದೆಲ್ಲೋ ಸಿಕ್ಕ ಹಾಕ್ಸಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ ನಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ.
Universal prayer.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡು. ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಥಿಂಕ್ ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ಲಿ located at point A, you will form your fate accordingly. ಸೊ ಅಕೇಶನಲ್ ಥಾಟ್ ಬಂತು, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎ ಪ್ಯೂರ್ ಆಗೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ಲಿ, ದೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಎ ಕರಪ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ impure. If you don't think about it, it is natural for the things to manifest at point A as a thought. That's okay. Like in meditation, you are okay to have a thought, alva? In real life also, you should be okay with the thought. But you should not catch hold of a thought and go on repeatedly thinking about it. Just by not doing it, you can actually keep the point A clean. Although we don't separately work on it to clean it. So when you purify point A by not unnecessarily thinking, and when you purify point B by cleaning, then you gain access to you are working on simultaneously A1, B1, A2, B2, A3, B3. ಮೂರು ಕಡೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮೂರು ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So if you work at the lowest level, other three levels are also simultaneously worked on. ಸರಿನಾ? People generally proceed with the right side, called the lower region, because they have not purified the heart so much so as to enable them to enter this portion of the brighter state. They want to enter with all the things they possess. Thus, they try to attempt the impossible by trying to proceed with the left side. It depends upon much of the worthy master or the guide to lead the disciple onto the right side, the correct side, which with his things and belongings cast asunder. ಅಂದರೆ ಲೋವರ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಲೋವರ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ವಿ ಕೀಪ್ ಅವರ್ ಬಿಲಾಂಗಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಯು ಬಿಕಮ್ ಎಲಿಜಿಬಲ್ ಟು ಎಂಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಯು ಪೋರ್ಷನ್. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಎಂಟರ್ ದ ಯು ಫ್ರಮ್ ಎಲ್ ವಿತ್ ಕೀಪಿಂಗ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್, ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನೋ ಯೂಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು ದ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಟು ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಎಲ್ so that you are able to enter you with very least of your belongings. Here the cosmos begins, which is a part of the big circle of the heart, which here people often feel the light being displayed in heavy showers. But this is not our goal. We must tear it off before we cross this big circle of the heart. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಗ್ ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ 6th point up to the 10th point. That is the big circle now he's talking about. The upper heart region ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, that is what he's talking about. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸಸ್? You feel that the light is being displayed in heavy showers. This is something that you feel at the 7th point. Light being displayed in heavy showers. ಆಯ್ತಾ? 7th, 8th point ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೆಲವು ಸತಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. 10th point ಹೋಗುವಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸರಿನಾ? Now similarly we come to the other part of the region called as D2, the upper one. And that's at the 10th point. ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಾಕಿದಾರೆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದಾರ?
10 ಅಂತಾರೆ. 10 ಅಂತ.
So the right side of the heart is same. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, 7 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ 10 ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಹಾಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಏನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಬರೀ ಲೋವರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಚೇಂಜ್, ಉಲ್ಟಾ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ D1, D2, D3 they are the same. ಸೊ ಅಪ್ಪರ್ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, D1 ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಲೋವರ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ಥರನೇ 10th ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದೇ ಥರನೇ 13th ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸರಿ. Similarly, we come to the other part of the region called as D2, the upper one. The right side is the lower region as shown in the diagram 4. Here we find the superfine state of consciousness. So one is the lowest type, the next one is the superior type. This is superfine state of consciousness. So super consciousness. It all depends upon the point B of the heart, which if purified to the core will land you at point A2, which lies in the region D2. A little behind the superfine state of the consciousness, behind the skull, where the region of the mind begins, there are again two parts having the same point, but they are passed over easily to reach the point which I shall now show by a diagram later on. I have discussed enough of the heart region, though only to continue in outline. I shall deal now with the finer regions that come across during our march onwards. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ D2, D3 ಮತ್ತು A3, B3 ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಟ್ ದ 13th ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಸರಿನಾ? ಸರಿ, ವಿ ಶುಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಎನಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್.
Uncle, point B again, it's a very delicate balance, that you have to procreate in life, yet you should not reinforce that you are the body.
Exactly. That's why you need to develop that fine balance over a period of time. But generally, see, prior to this point B being found out, Lalaji used to say that you need to have a normal family life up to 40 years. After 40 years, you should be like brothers and sisters with your wife. In other words, that husband-wife relationship should be now given up. You should reside like brethren. ಅವಾಗೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಾವು that is what they used to follow during those times. But then after Babaji found out this point B, it has now become more easier to actually work on it and develop the super consciousness, and also to work on what do you say, managing the sensual desires. And one of the things that we see nowadays is multiplication of the sensual desires, because of all the kind of things that we are kind of exposed to. So there is a constant, what do you say, stimulation of the sensual desires in our system by many different sources. Okay, you see any cinema, there's a lot of eroticism there. You see any serials, you see the way that people dress, even normally. So there is a lot of tendency to arouse the sensual desires now. So that is the reason why the point B cleaning becomes even more important in the current context of the stage that we are passing through. Okay, so just make sure that you clean the point B at least for 3 to 4 minutes before you start the morning meditation. That will go a long way in actually helping you in meditation also, but also developing sensitivity and entry into the super consciousness. Okay. Any other question?
Like throughout the book, I think Babuji writes some of the readings of nature that which allows me to tell these things, Allah. So what is that? I think probably here in the central region or throughout the book, he writes this sentence, that which is allowing me to tell, I'm telling. So what is that restriction again? That why is he facing this restriction even though it's sort of established at the center?
He's facing restriction just because that you need to give somebody something only at the level that they are at, that they can actually utilize it for their beneficial journey. When you give something to somebody at a level that they are not yet ready, it can actually be detrimental for their life, for their journey. Say, for example, suppose a 6th standard kid likes 9th standard, so he gets the 9th standard book and start looking through that 9th standard book. He's not able to make a head and tail of it. Now, all that happens is that he'll get headache, he'll start having heaviness of the head. After that, he becomes more grosser. So, we need to give things to people at the time when they are actually able to utilize it for their journey. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ we use the word two words, ಅಕಾಲ ಸಕಾಲ. For example, it's now raining. It's a rainy season, it's raining. It's okay. It's part of the nature cycle. But if the same rain occurs during summer seasons, where you are expecting to have a good crop of a particular thing that you have sown, the rain is going to destroy the crop. So that's not the right time for the rain to fall. But if the rain falls at the right time, then it can actually give you a very good crop. So the rain falling in the off period is called as akala. The rain falling at the right time is called as sakala. Okay. So sakala, sukala. Sukala means nice, having a nice time. ಯಾರನ್ನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಿಡ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ನೈಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ದೆಮ್ ಸುಖಾಲವಾಗಿದ್ಯಾ ಅಂತ. Nobody is going to understand what you're talking about. In the evening, we were talking about the fact that we have now reached that level of Kannada where somebody needs to write Kannada interpretation of the Kannada book. That is the level we have reached as far as our, what do you say, the depth of Kannada is concerned. We become so corrupted with so many other languages that nobody can actually understand the classical Kannada, Shastriya Kannada, or Pustakiya Kannada. So somebody needs to simplify the complete works and write it in a language that people at our age can understand in this era. The kind of Kannada that was there 75 years back to the kind of Kannada that we have got is so different. It's almost like unrecognizable. And yesterday there was the one sentence mentioned by one sister. She used two words, English words, and she claimed that she is talking in Kannada. ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟಾಗಿ ಟಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. I told her, where is the Kannada word in that? ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್ನ ಡಿಫೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ.
ಬುಧವಾರ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ
ಏನೇನು
ಅಲ್ಲ ಯಾವತ್ತಾಯ್ತು? ಬುಧವಾರ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದೆ.
ಬುಧವಾರ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ
ನೀವು ಇದೇ ಮಾತು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ.
ಹಾ, ಗಣಪತಿ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ ಬುಧವಾರ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ.
ಇದೇ ಮಾತು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂದೆ.
ಇದೇ ಮಾತು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಬುಧವಾರ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನ. ನೀನು ಅಷ್ಟು ದೂರ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳಿಸೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಆಯ್ತಾ, ನೀನ್ ಹತ್ರ ಬಂದು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಗೋಪಾಲ ಕೃಷ್ಣನು ಹಂಗೆ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿಸೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಕೇಳಿಸಲ್ಲ. ಆಯ್ತಾ. ಸೊ we now have 4 languages that we use. One to talk, one to write, one to read, one to feel. We have 4 different languages. All of us.
ಐ ಆಮ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ಆ ಕನ್ನಡಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಯಾರು ಹೋರಾಡ್ತಿದಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವರಿಗೂ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡ ನೆಟ್ಗೆ.
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ನಿಮಗೆ? ನಂಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಮಳೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ದ?
ಬ್ರದರ್ ಸೆಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಂತ ಭಾಷೆಗೆ ಯಾರು ಹೋರಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರತ್ತೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ ಅನ್ನೋ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಖಾತ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ.
ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ನಶಿಸಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸಿ, ಕನ್ನಡ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಓಲ್ಡೆಸ್ಟ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಇನ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್. ಆಯ್ತು. ಓ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಗುಡ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಯಶಸ್ಸನ್.
I cannot speak that level of Kannada right now, actually. ಅದು ಬರೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಿನ್ನ ಭಾಷೆ ಬೇರೆ ತರ. ನಿಂದು ಉತ್ತರ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನಾ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಮೈಸೂರು ಕನ್ನಡ ಈ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರೀಯ ಕನ್ನಡ. ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಕಲ್ ಕನ್ನಡ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇದನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಗೋಪಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿದೆ. ನೆನ್ನೆನೂ ಇದನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ, ಈಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿದೆ.
Dispute ಅಲ್ಲ, different question actually.
ಹಾ,
Uh, since nature exposed a way for point B cleaning, is it that did it also expose a way that it can be formed rapidly? Could
it can
that
be.
be to point B samskaras to be formed rapidly in a expansive way like how it is right now?
In a way, you can say that nature knew the kind of things that's going to come, so it's given a remedy or a patch before it occurs. Nature knew what is due to come, so it revealed point B so that it can be managed. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, the guru always first gives the capacity to work and then the work. Likewise, nature sometimes reveals its secrets to help manage what is due to come.
But isn't it also the nature uh, who got out the things that came out? Can
ಹೌದು,
that be said?
nature only has allowed it to be kind of revealed.
Even the latter part, where it has become expansive,
That
even nature is.
that is part of the nature, but then that expansion can be used in a good way also, bad way also, in a detrimental way also. So for those people who want to use it in the good way, a remedy is given. Alva? So, and anyway, what is the restriction ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ 6ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ 9ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಪುಸ್ತಕ, ಅಕಾಲ ಸಕಾಲ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಇನ್ ಗುಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೀತಾರೆ ಬಾಬುಜಿ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ವಿಸ್ಪರ್ಸ್ ಮೆಸೇಜಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. All in good time. So you have to wait for some of the secrets to be unlocked in due course of time. We have had some secrets unlocked. There are so many other secrets which are still to be tapped into or unlocked in spirituality. Don't think that this is the only thing. Like C and D points were not there in this book, but Daji didn't describe the C and D point. So there are quite a few things which are likely to come in due course of time. So and that's going to make it even more easier for our spiritual journey. So it's just that we need to have the inclination to go in that direction instead. Okay? ಇನ್ನು ಕೇಳಬೇಕಾ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ? ಮುಗಿತಾ?
I have one last question. ನಿಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ I'll ask this.
ಟೈಮ್ ಇದೆ, ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇವತ್ತೇನು ಇನ್ಯಾವ ಬುಕ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಭಾನುವಾರ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ಪೋನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
Okay. Uncle, again, this is related to how love is being perceived in the modern era. That generally it is a man and a woman, and now it has sort of turned into a man and man, husband. So that women and women, or they change genders as well. So do you say that is also a point B problem?
It's a point B problem. See, when we say sensual desires at point B, to what object or gender that sensual desires is directed to, that doesn't matter. That is not the issue. Sensual desires means when the reproductive organs are used, that's what it is. It can be a car or bike too. It could be anything. Okay. So when we talk about point B cleaning, in whichever direction the sensual desires are flowing, that will be actually purified. That will be moderated. That's all it is.
I think in one of the book it is written when we do the point B cleaning, the point C is automatically cleaned. That's where the worldly desires are there, right?
So point B cleaning ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ point C ನು ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು.
ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಓದಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ?
ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ A B ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ the desires come down strongly. That's what happens. Without the point A and B being worked on, the desires do not come down so strongly. Point C is the gateway of samskara formation, but we cannot clean point C directly. We can keep the point C clean by moderating our likes and dislikes. Because point C is about likes and dislikes. If you have intense likes and dislikes, then it's going to create more samskara, because that's why it is called as the gateway of samskara formation. Because everything that we do as of now, once we grow up, is based on our likes and dislikes. If you like something, you do. If you don't like something, you don't do. So the fundamental basis of leading the life is what we do at point C. That's why it is called as the gateway of samskara formation. When the point C is moderated by moderating the likes and dislikes, what happens is that the samskara formation comes down substantially. But that is based on the likes and dislikes being moderated. But if the A and B point are worked on, the desires as a whole come down. That's the importance of working on A and B. The desires as a whole comes down. ಸರಿನಾ? ಸೊ ಏನೋ ಅವನು ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ಗೆ ಏನೋ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನೋ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಏನೋ ಹುಡುಕ್ತಾ ಹಾಕುತ್ತೇನೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ.
Gleaming heartfulness way.
ಹೇಳು.
Something similar we read. I'm just trying to.
ನೀ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ಲೆಸ್ ವೇ ಹುಡುಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ಅಂತ ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ.
Point is associated with the material life. So whenever our reaction concerns a worldly like or dislike, the vibrations at point C ripple to point A.
ಅದೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು. ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, when we start relating to the world, ಅಲ್ಲ, the thought about the world first starts coming to point A. In due course of time, as when reinforce certain things, ಅಲ್ಲ, the point C becomes more important in our life. And the entire life is now led by point C, not by point A. So it's the likes and dislikes that determine what we do or don't do in our life. ಆಯ್ತಾ?